All right, so you want to grow on YouTube, right? We've all seen the videos with the top 5 tips, but today we're doing something different. We're going to look at a real-deal creator's journey, someone who took his biggest personal challenges and turned them into his superpower, building an incredible brand from the ground up. Ready? Let's get into it.
So, let's start right here with this quote from creator Kyle Straight. I believe if you're not comfortable in your own skin, you're robbing yourself of your true destiny. Wow. Just let that sink in for a second. Because really, before we even talk about algorithms or growth hacks, this is it. This is the heart of it all. Authenticity. It's the bedrock of his whole brand and honestly the foundation for everything we're going to cover today.
Okay, here's our game plan. We're going to walk through 5 key stages. First, the spark, finding that authentic voice. Then, the blueprint, cracking the YouTube code. After that, the community, building a real following. Then, the amplifier, getting your stuff out there. And finally, the payoff, making this whole thing sustainable.
All right, part 1, the spark, finding your authentic voice. This is all about how those personal challenges can actually create a super powerful mission for you. You see, before you even think about growing, you have to know why your channel even exists. And our guide for this? Well, there's no better example than Kyle Straight.
So Kyle's whole channel is basically powered by his life story. I mean, think about this. He grew up in the 80s with Asperger's and cerebral palsy. He said that back then, accessibility was, and I quote, a bad joke. But here's the thing. Instead of letting that stop him, it turned him into what he calls a problem-solving ninja. He talks about learning to open doors with his foot just so he could carry his backpack. He takes that exact same grit and channels it into his mission today, fearless, investigative journalism. We're talking going undercover, holding huge corporations accountable. For Kyle, every single one of those challenges became creative fuel. It's incredible.
And that right there is the key takeaway. Your why. That thing that's uniquely you, born from your own life, that's your secret weapon. It's not really about what you make videos about, it's about why you're the one making them. That's what builds a genuine connection, something no algorithm on earth can ever fake.
Okay, on to part 2, the blueprint. You've got your powerful message, your why, but now you've got to make sure people actually see it, right? This is where we learn to understand the system, because even a problem-solving ninja has to know the rules of the game. It's time to crack that YouTube code.
So if there's one metric that the YouTube algorithm is absolutely obsessed with, it's this: watch time. It's pretty simple, really. It's the total time people spend watching your videos. YouTube's whole goal is just to keep people on the platform. So if you make a video that people can't stop watching, say a wild undercover investigation like Kyle's, YouTube's algorithm goes, aha, this is good stuff, and starts showing it to more and more people.
And this really lays out the 2 paths you can take. On one side, you've got the clickbait trap. You know the deal. A flashy title gets you the click, but the video sucks, so people bounce after 10 seconds. That kills your channel. On the other side, you have the real goal, a great title and great watch time. People click and they stay because you delivered on your promise. It's the difference between a one-time trick and actually building trust with your audience.
So how do you actually make this happen? Well, it comes down to a little thing called SEO, or search engine optimization. Don't worry, it's not as scary as it sounds. It's just the technical stuff you do behind the scenes. You start by figuring out what people are actually searching for. That's keyword research. Then you use that to write a killer title that's clear and clickable. After that, you write a really detailed description packed with those keywords. And finally, you add some strategic tags to help YouTube figure out exactly who your video is for. And speaking of getting that click, check this out. YouTube themselves say that a whopping 90% of the best performing videos on the entire platform use custom thumbnails. And that's not an accident. Think about it. For a creator like Kyle, that thumbnail isn't just a random screenshot. It's the movie poster for his next big investigation. It's everything. It's what makes you go, I have to see this.
Getting clicks and views is one thing. That's great. But turning those one-time viewers into a real, loyal community, that's how you build something that actually lasts. And if you're a creator with a mission, it's not just a nice-to-have. It's absolutely crucial. Which brings us to part 3. The community.
And this is a really important distinction to make. Growing a channel often feels like you're just chasing numbers, views, subs, all that stuff. But building a community, that's about building relationships. It's about making people feel like they're part of something.
It's the difference between having people who just watch you and having people who are genuinely invested in you and what you're trying to do.
And your YouTube analytics, they show you the proof right here. Yeah, you need new viewers to grow, of course. But that growing slice of returning viewers, that's your gold mine. That's the sign of a healthy community. For a guy like Kyle, these aren't just people who clicked once. These are the people who came back for more. They're not just subscribing to a channel, they're subscribing to his cause. That's the core.
So how do you actually do it? Well, it's all about active engagement. Don't just heart a comment, actually reply, start a real conversation. Use that community tab for polls, quick updates, whatever. Ask your audience for their ideas and then actually use them. Pin a really interesting comment to get more people talking. Show some behind-the-scenes stuff. You want to make them feel less like an audience and more like part of the team.
All right, you've got amazing content, you've got an engaged community. Now what? Now it's time to hit the gas. Welcome to part 4, the amplifier. This is where we figure out how to promote your stuff beyond YouTube and take your mission to a whole new level.
So this is the big question, isn't it? You feel like you're doing everything right, but you've hit a plateau. How do you find those hidden pockets of growth? Well, the answer is to do what any good journalist would do. You investigate. You study the landscape. You see what everyone else is up to. And more importantly, you find what they're missing.
Think of this 5-step plan as your own little intelligence gathering mission. First, figure out who your top competitors are. Then, go read the comments on their videos. Seriously, it's a goldmine of what their audience loves and hates. Look at their content strategy, what kind of videos they make, how often. Peek at their SEO strategy, see what keywords they're targeting. But look, the goal here is not to copy them, it's to find the gaps. For someone like Kyle, this is about finding the stories that no one else has the guts to tell.
And that brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, part 5, the payoff. This is about taking all this passion, all this hard work, and turning it into something that can actually support you long-term. And, crucially, how to do it without losing the very soul of why you started in the first place.
You've got a lot of options here. There's the standard YouTube ad revenue, affiliate partnerships where you get a commission, paid sponsorships, product reviews, channel memberships for recurring income. The list goes on. But for a creator who's driven by a mission, every single one of these paths comes with a big question. Does this help my work or does it hurt it?
And that leads us perfectly to this quote from another creator, Doug Cunnington. Your audience's trust is your greatest asset. This is so important. It brings everything full circle, back to that idea of authenticity. For an investigative journalist like Kyle, trust isn't just a nice thing to have, it's his currency. It's everything. If he compromises that for a fast paycheck, his whole mission is over. Done.
So at the end of the day, you just have to remember this. Building something real on YouTube is a marathon, not a sprint. It's so easy to forget that. Kyle Straight's journey didn't begin the day he uploaded his first video. It began with a lifetime of experience. It takes that kind of consistency, that kind of patience, and a nonstop focus on bringing real value. You just have to stay committed and trust that you're on the right path.
So, there you have it. We've gone through the whole framework, all of it inspired by a real creator who turned his personal story into his power. You have the blueprint, you see how it's done. So now, the only real question is, what story are you going to tell?